Okay, fellows, hello and welcome. It's training practice session tonight. It's gonna be P-40 and I will do operational readiness, skills recovery, training practice session. I didn't try P-40, my main airplane P-40 for many months, and today we'll do practice taxiing, landing runs on two types of surface. It's gonna be Marston mud, and first it's gonna be sandy surface and Marston mud, and then I will do takeoff circuit and landing. And next time, today it will be 0 crosswind, and next time it's gonna be about 3 or 4 meters per second crosswind. I've got sound, I've got a video, and almost all set. That's single player. I hate single player, but I'm pretty tired of trying to find appropriate server. There are no such thing in this game, and will not be. So let's survive with the single player, and this will be 7172 heading. Okay, I will consider it's 170. It's not 170, okay. And this it's Saint Pierre Église airplane, famous small village, famous from history, from other games, and 113. I know why they did so, why they did such headings. Probably it's magnetic deviation causes that. And I will spawn and do first taxiing, and then practice landing runs. And practice landing runs means you do simulated takeoff for some seconds, acceleration, and then with the flaps fully extracted, you do practice landing runs to avoid circling. But then I will do high-speed taxiing. That's the most challenging for me, even in with no wind, with crosswind conditions. There will be the most challenging for me. And let's start. All set. Start. No heading indicator needed. 415, 420 meters, 420 feet above sea level, my airfield. I've picked up this airfield because quick mission doesn't give me this. Beaulieu airfield, which is familiar and well known to me by best training server in the world, in the history of this game, SLT Steel Skies server, which isn't available now. It was the best training server. 72AG is a great server, but for hitting the targets not for operational readiness training in terms of primary training, flying and taxiing and circling. Back to game. Okay, first check track IR. Well, track IR is absolutely fine, I must say. Should I change my point of? Yes, I should. A little bit change it. Okay, I guess like that. Second, controls into before engine start configuration, the same will be for. You don't have to do anything with I can't remember actually. You don't have to do. I will do that. Auto reach and a little bit throttle forward. Then trims to neutral, and I've almost forgot all trim settings. I will do elevator trim like 70% Technochat, but I will not use Technochat this mission. I will use those markings. 70% Technochat is 5.6. Yes, and rudder should be 36% left. I remember that. That's 5.5 left. Aileron is on that somewhere here. Yeah, on that toggle, on that knob. And next, I forgot to open close cowl shutters. I will leave it about half closed, and engine starts. My magnetic heading. This is a magnetic heading indicator, and this should be gyro compass. Unbelievable how game is so laggy. And if my heading is 250, I can say I am here. I'm here. So I will do taxiing over there. All around and lights on. I can see it has why I've picked up this airfield, because I forgot to switch on my YouTube stream on my phone in case.
Mayflower. This is Roughman, leader. Requesting taxi to runway. Over.
Roughman, affirmative. Taxi to the runway.
Roughman, leader. Roger.
So, everything set. Once again, trickyard check. And the next step to start moving the standard operational procedure or mission part. Start moving. I got joystick with the throttle lever. My left hand is on my throttle lever, right hand on stick with my. By the way, I forgot to check out my controls. That's a mistake. With my twist on a stick, I will do rudder, steering. I will do taxiing without using brakes. Only by rudder steering. That means prop wash gives you left or right force, cross force to steer when you deflect your rudder. And I will not use brakes, so to start moving you should increase your power, engine power, more than 1500 RPM. That power is too low, so manifold pressure gauge will not be functional yet. So I will do power in I will give power in RPM, and prop governor, RPM governor doesn't work on such low RPMs. So each throttle lever movement gives you RPM changes. By the she started moving. She has started moving. Another mistake. That's why operational readiness training is important. I forgot to release parking brakes. That's a sandy surface which I like, because that gives you a fair amount of rolling drag force, and it's quite hot, so 13.400 RPM should be good for normal taxiing speed. I will not use brakes, and I will do S turning only using my rudder without any braking, including differential braking. I've got no differential braking ability, but even if I'd have one, if I'd have one, I wouldn't use it. This taxiing speed seems quite low, but I guess I guess it's normal. I moved throttle lever a little bit forward. Now it's 1380 RPM, and right away I should move throttle backwards, because on Marston mud she will start accelerating, so minus 300 RPM.
Mayflower, this is Bruffman, leader. Requesting takeoff clearance. Over.
Brushman, cleared for takeoff.
Bruffman, leader. Taking off. Out.
No, I'm not taking off. Throttle a little bit forward. 1005, 1010 RPM wasn't enough. 1060, still not enough. It's too slow. 1100 RPM, but now I'm steering right, because I need to get on that taxi runway, so I will increase RPM one more time up to 1380 RPM. It's not 80. Almost 1400 RPM. Yeah, 1400 RPM, which is too much. Yeah, 1360, 65 RPM. I watch it on this gauge. I'm trying to steer without using. I do not use brakes. My goal is to. I do not watch pedals. I just work with a twist on my joystick. And it's a decent taxiing speed, but I'm rusty. I shouldn't do too sudden, too hard moves, not to let her do any ground loop, or to avoid any ground loop, and to avoid even ground loop tendencies, attempts, ground loop attempts. Because if you need to decrease your overall speed, you may do more angling. Where should I turn here? I should stop and find it out. This airfield is new for me. I've never been here. I guess I'm here, so I should turn right. Yeah, I can see that bending taxi, runway bending, and once again throttle forward. More than 1500 RPM to start moving, and back to 1380. 1380, good. Taxiing speed is quite low, but in my practice I like using I would, even though I've played only alone, and when I don't know, Finnish server is very bad lately, but I guess I should do some P-40 missions on Finnish server. All my free time is occupied with A20 level bombing missions, which have become quite important for me last 2 years, but I must say I have some good results in my operational readiness on A20. That's some kind of unfinished job in Il2 Sturmovik more than 13 years ago, when I was about 13 years ago, when I was in 81st Squadron RAF. Some good players used to play there, and I had hopes of developing operational mission program and operational readiness training program for such types of missions like P-40 ground strafing, low-level missions, P-40 dive bombing mission, which is done by a squadron of 12 P-40s, P-40 ground targets, escort, low-level escort missions, like vehicle convoys or ship convoys, and B-25 high altitude level bombing of squadron of 9, 3 flights of 9, decent squadron of bombers. So of course I had no chance to accomplish that goal, not only because no one was up to participate, only one person actually who didn't fly too much, and when he played this game he played only one-on-one dual air-to-air combat on fighter planes in Berloga analog in old Il2 Forgotten Battles. So no one was up to support me in that job, and somewhere around 2016 some reasons in my life didn't let me to play too much, so my flight time reduced very much, and now I play about 4 or 5 hours a week. There were times when I played 20 hours a week, and that was not too much. 20 hours a week is good. So even myself, I couldn't continue that operational readiness training, couldn't continue developing operational readiness training program, but I do what I can, and last 2 years were dedicated mostly A20 level bombing missions. I've achieved some results, and I will continue work with A20, but my main mission type remains P-40 ground strafing quite low level profile flight profile, and the same long range, maximum range route flying, but the same, you've got only Finnish server where you can accomplish such types of a mission, and Finnish server has always that ugly turbulence. And stop. I reduce the power, retard the throttle. I need to, I'm right here right now. I'm at spot which I call rolling to start spot, readiness spot. In case your group do takeoff, in my view, your group should do separate takeoff with timing delay 30 seconds. Each consecutive airplane or each next element of two airplanes should start takeoff with 30 seconds intervals, and before takeoff you should be bunched up in this area, which is queuing up area before rolling to start spot, readiness position, which is here on the map. It's here, and 30 seconds before start time your airplane does this: advance the throttle, start moving without using brakes, and you should do taxiing and turning left, in this case 90 degrees left, and stopping in 22-23 seconds without ground loop tendencies, without anything like this, like here, plus minus 5 degrees, and then you initiate your takeoff sequence. I will practice that either later, and now I will continue taxiing. When I was preparing this mission, I wanted very badly to do. That's a ground loop. That's when you see you're rusty. To do crosswind mission, and I needed to give all my self-discipline and patience to set up zero wind conditions, actually, because I knew such mistakes, such errors will follow, and there will be much of them. I would like very much practicing that crosswind high-speed taxiing, that crosswind normal speed taxiing, those crosswind practice landing runs, but I knew I'm very rusty. I didn't practice for 2 months, and before that I didn't practice for another maybe 2 or 3 months. I do not remember. So practically you do not practice, and you should be always in a good shape. You shouldn't do 2 weeks or 3 weeks breaks in your practice, because that will give you a decline of your skills. I've got 1380 RPM right now, and I'm quite confident and quite good in taxiing without using brakes. I do S-turning without using brakes. So I will continue. That's why I like this airplane with sandy surface. This game has got a lot of good features, but has got a lot of bad and developed ugly features, like too little amount of rolling drag on asphalt, on concrete surface, on Marston mud surfaces like this. So on sandy surface your rolling drag is quite sufficient, so I need to increase my power. The first advantage of such increased power is much easier to set up correct power, because each small throttle lever move gives you less percentage of your taxiing speed on such types of surfaces, such type of surface, on grassy surface, on sandy surface, and unfortunately on asphalt, on concrete, on Marston mud, on icy surfaces. In this game rolling drag is much less, and I consider that an error, a mistake, a bug, and undeveloped that physics wasn't developed well, in my view. You can find on YouTube. You don't have to be real life pilot, you don't have to do World War II warbirds practice to see they do not change the RPM, to hear they do not change the RPM while getting from asphalt or concrete surfaces into grass. It's almost the same. If they change very not too much, and in my case I had to increase 300 RPM when I get from Marston mud to sandy surfaces. That is completely rubbish for me, in my view. But another feature of the difference between two types of surfaces, sandy surfaces in view of developer's view has got much less grip. So when you turn, you create some angle of attack on those main wheels, and grip increasing, and you turning. When you turn, that's the turning mechanism physics, like on your road car, and that's quite amusing. They consider, I will do this loop, I will go there, or maybe I'm already here. No, I'm here. They consider sandy surface or grassy surface gives you much less grip. That's such a stupid thing. Much less grip than asphalt. And on asphalt, on concrete, on even on those steel plates, very very thin steel plates, Marston mud plates, which should be very slippery. Okay, Marston mud, you've got much more grip in this game than on this surface. That's completely ridiculous in my view, because sandy surface will give you enough rolling drag and enough grip, but that feature you has less grip actually helps you when you do not have enough skills, because you need to turn your rudder more for the same amount of turning. So you need to move your rudder more for the same turning, for the same amount of rotation of your taxiing airplane, and that's quite convenient, because it's much easier to make an error, to make a mistake when you taxi on concrete or asphalt or Marston mud surface, because grip is much higher on those types of surfaces, and you need to do very small movements, and it's much easier to do a mistake, to do too much or not enough movement, and to which will cause, for example, excessive movement will cause ground loop or ground loop attempt, which you will need to prevent, which you will need to correct, and you will lose time, and by doing so you will get your taxiing airplane out of taxiing runway. So that may cause a collision with some equipment or some other airplanes, cause stuck in mud or somewhere. Of course, this game doesn't give you anything like that, but who knows, maybe Combat Pilot will give you much more fidelity in taxiing physics. This game's taxiing physics is already quite good in my view, so I can only say thank you, developers who do the taxiing physics 12 years ago, who did that taxiing physics 12 years ago, but it wasn't finished. So I understand that mission is quite boring, but I'm actually enjoying right now, because I feel like skills are coming back to me. I'm starting feeling much more and more confident, and very warm weather also helps, because it's easier to set up the correct manifold pressure in order to have decent taxiing speed. This taxiing speed may seem quite low, but in terms of group missions, when you need to taxi within the group, you form some kind of a line astern column formation on taxi runway. Any mistake, any error, any slowing down could cause a collision or excessive fatigue of players, of other players. So that's something you don't want to do, because let those players be as fresh as possible, because they will check your six or save your American soul when Messerschmitts or 190s will jump on you over that ground target which you will try to strafe. So you don't need any unnecessary fatigue, any negative emotions of your group members. So in order to do all the mission parts, including taxiing, as comfortable, as easy as possible, and as safe as possible, you should train yourself, you should evolve your skills. Otherwise, you will make unnecessary errors, you will do collisions, lose time. It's gonna be such a mess. I like this airfield. This airfield is great. And I will complete the full circle around the aerodrome. I will complete it. Then I will start practice landing runs and high-speed taxiing first on this sandy surface, and then on I will do taxiing, a little bit taxiing on or maybe I should do a little bit taxiing on Marston Mud, and then sorry, I need to open the windows, quite hot in here. Okay, I'm back. Let me just check my track IR once again. Track IR is set. Eye view is very important, and once again more than 1500 RPM to start moving, and remain, and back to 1380 RPM. Without any crosswind, taxiing is very simple for experienced player like myself. With crosswind, it's quite different. That's another matter when you have crosswind. So I'm happy I wasn't too jumpy, and I didn't get me a mission with a crosswind today already. It would be premature, very premature. it's gonna be quite long and very boring mission, and I hope of completing next few days another mission with Crosswind, and then maybe if Finnish server allows me, I will do combat mission. But if not, I might do combat mission in quick mission. I will strafe simulated objectives. I don't know which objectives I should get. I don't know. Maybe some bridge somewhere. I don't know how to work with a mission editor. That mission editor doesn't open some types of files and some I forgot that word. Expansion. I forgot that word. Some types of files I cannot open, and I cannot create mission for me, even with all those helping apps. So now she is rolling quite fast some reason. I don't know why. Maybe that's only, maybe it's me, maybe it's normal taxiing speed. Maybe, yeah, I guess I know what is going on. The staged change of fuel left over in fuel tanks has switched a little bit center of gravity of airplane center of gravity moved a little bit, I guess, forwards, I don't know. So rolling drag changed a little bit, so I was forced to decrease RPM in about 35-40 RPM. I can see it on this gauge. Okay, continue taxiing. I do S-turning. I didn't get any ground loop or ground loop tendencies. So when it's gonna be crosswind, I will get a lot of such ground loops and ground loops tendencies. Even on taxiing, I will get out of taxi runway width. I will access that width, so I will get on the grass on a regular basis, and it's gonna be even more obvious. My struggling will be even more obvious on high-speed taxiing, and maybe even practice landing runs. And later I will do takeoff circuit and landing to practice touchdowns, which should be awful. I'm lacking normal skills. Do not access the runway width. It was much easier to let her it was very easy to let her do ground loop or ground loop tendency while turning. I was ready and I didn't let her do that, but mostly that was due to lack of crosswind. Now I'm using brakes to get myself into that spot, into that readiness spot. So my simulated takeoff heading will be 172. So in a readiness spot your heading should be, in this case, plus 90 degrees, plus minus 5 degrees, so it's okay. It should be 260. It's 262, 257. It's actually okay. The next spot I will do simulated mission part or standard operational procedure of rolling from readiness spot into start. Readiness position into start position. So imagine yourself all my operational readiness training. I would like to see my flying most convenient and most adapted to the group flying, group operations, even though I fly alone, and I will continue fly alone because no one will do such immense boredom, and I've got now that operational readiness training program. You have to have a lot of video materials, a lot of videos to make people understand how would you like to play. So in case of group operations, if you need to do takeoff from this spot to 70 heading, you will queue up in that area 12, the group of 12, squadron of 12, squadron of 3 flights of 4, and you will queue up in this area, and all not single airplanes, but elements of 2, element leader and element wings. So 6 elements of 2 would do the standard operational procedure of rolling to start position. Start position is over here, and readiness, rolling to start readiness position is underneath my airplane. I'm on that spot, is here, and start position is here. So you should get yourself from readiness position into start position. So you do start taxiing, you taxi a little bit forward, turn left in this case, and stop with heading 172 plus minus 5 degrees. And you should do that in 22-23 seconds. So let's check out the time. In 0 seconds I will start that mission part, that standard operational procedure, and I should complete it in 25 seconds. Throttle forward more than 1500 RPM to start moving in such surface. She moves, retard the throttle, be careful, do not let her do ground loop, do not use brakes, try to do that without brakes. With brakes it's much easier, but who knows which. And I stop without using brakes. In 30 seconds, in 5 seconds, by one movement I advanced the throttle up to 39 inches. I was too late a little bit. I was too slow a little bit. Retard the throttle, because I will not do the whole procedure right now. Steer to the sandy surface, open canopy, and I need to change control settings down to practice landing run configuration. It is different from my current configuration. My current controls configuration is for takeoff. The difference is trimming. This game's physics is such a great physics. Petrovich did a very good job 20 years ago. So if you see your airplane, here you got prop wash, and that prop wash deflects from the surface and affects your tail very much. So when you do such movements, such elevator surfaces movements, you actually change your tendency to, you change your tail wheel reaction force. You can change it, and even when you change elevator trimming, you change it. So that's why, for better training purposes, you should establish trim set, and on that position and that configuration you would have after touchdown on landing, and that configuration would be elevator Technochat 90%, which is 0.45 on the scale here. So change it, add some elevator trim somewhere here, it's okay. And radar will be not 35, 36 Technochat, which is 5.5. It will be 22% left, which is 3.4 on that scale. So I reduce left rudder trim a little bit, and aileron I shouldn't. Aileron, I guess it's 12% right, but I've got no Technochat, so I will not be able to set it up right. But anyway, I will try. I guess 4 small small movements of that switch will do me. Okay, let's try. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not gonna be 12%, but whatever. And the next step I will do high-speed taxiing. Why do you need high-speed taxiing? For example, your airplane, where's my external view? Your airplane just accomplished final approach, touchdown, and has slowed down on practice landing runs. The next guy, the next group member is behind you, and with 30 seconds interval is going to make landing after you. So who knows, maybe that group member isn't lucky or have some problems, or by any means he or she does long touchdown. So you just did excellent touchdown in first quarter of that landing strip land, and your group member, your teammate, will do touchdown somewhere here and excessive airspeed, and will decrease airspeed somewhere there. That's a combat aviation simulator. Who knows? Maybe someday we will get braking not 100% reliable. Who knows? So in order to avoid collisions, because you do not vacate left, you do not vacate right, that's a arcade, unrealistic, ugly feature, but the whole community do that, unfortunately, but let them do that. But if you want normal operations, you should clear the runway, so you should offset left or right. In my case is going to be left, and do high-speed taxiing to clear the runway, to get yourself to the end of the runway, and to steer left or right, to vacate left or right on a taxi runway, and do your taxiing to your parking place. So that's a normal operational procedure for group landing. So in that case, you need to know how to do high-speed taxiing. It's quite challenging, even with zero crosswind conditions. And so I do high-speed taxiing with power settings of normal speed taxiing, which is 1300 RPM, 1380 RPM plus 15%. So if I calculate 1380 product 1.15, that means I should do 1600 RPM, I guess. Let me check it. It should be standard. For standard airspeed. Yes, exactly. It's going to be 1600 RPM. Maybe I should round it down to 1500. I don't know. Let's, to make it easier, to make it more standard, let's get it 1500 RPM, so taxiing speed will not be too much. Or maybe, I don't know. Let's make it 15. No, I should round it up to 1600 RPM. So the next step, I imagine I just did successful landing, and the next step I increase power and I've changed my trims. She starts behaving in a quite different way. Establish 1600 RPM and do high-speed taxiing. And while doing that high-speed taxiing, you should doing S-turning to see what is ahead of you, because who knows, maybe some group member ahead of you does some error or mistake or some ground loop in order to, or just slow down too much. In order to prevent collision, you should see what is ahead of you. So regardless you do it on a high speed, on such high speed taxiing, you should do S-turning to see what's ahead of you. So I did a small mistake in that's not small, and another mistake, and here you are. I knew it's gonna be tricky because I didn't practice too well, even without crosswind. That's operational readiness skills deteriorated without practicing, so I should restart. And repeat that, because with no aileron, physics might be different, but I will restart from the same point. I will get myself a little bit less fuel and do, I guess, like this, and do that high-speed taxiing, which I knew it's gonna be challenging. So once again, controls should be okay. Track IR is good. Control settings, RPM full forward, a little bit forward, radar or throttle, and mixture on outer reach. You don't have to do throttle on this type of airplane. Cowl flaps half closed. I do that. Trims to neutral. Elevator 5.6, that's 70% up, somewhere here. Oh, doesn't matter. And radar 5.5, that's 34%. Engine start. And I will repeat and try this time without ground loop. I knew it's gonna be the case. I do that without using brakes, because who knows? With brakes it's much easier, but we don't have normal brakes physics. Brakes do not wear, they do not overheat, and sometimes when you, for example, your left main left wheel will be on some dumped patch or some dirty patch, and your right wheel will be on quite dry sand. By applying the brakes, you might have completely different reaction from your airplane, and you're expecting to reduce rotation, and you will increase rotation, and maybe even even damage your undercarriage, who knows. So it's much better to have skills of not using brakes and in
Mayflower, this is Rough Man, leader. Requesting taxi to runway. Over.
Rough Man. Affirmative. Taxi to the runway.
Rough Man, leader. Roger.
in gaming prospect, parking brakes off. In gaming prospect, you need to do that because no brakes taxiing is much more interesting when I use brakes on taxiing. The only thing I could think of is to get to final destination as quick as possible, because that procedure isn't interesting, isn't fun, and without using brakes it's challenging. That does require some skills, so it's much better gaming experience when you do not use brakes, and in more realistic physics, such in real life, that will benefit you in terms of more efficient, more reliable operations. I'm trying not to get here circling, so I've centered my rudder for so level pedals for a moment, and now I should decrease power because she will start accelerating like hell on Marston Mud, decreasing power down to 1100 RPM.
Mayflower.
And
this
that is
Rough Man,
ground loop
leader.
tendency.
Requesting
Ground loop
takeoff
tendency
clearance.
to the
Over.
right.
Rough
I
Man.
do not use
Cleared for takeoff.
Rough Man, leader. Taking off. Out.
I do not use brakes to stop her doing that ground loop tendency. That's exactly what I've been talking of. Those Marston Mud steel plates, they are slippery as hell. Even in dry weather, they are slippery. And in this game, they've got the same grip as asphalt or concrete tarmac. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, I'm on a sandy surface once again. No, I don't need to close canopy. I need to change trims. Rather down to 3.4, elevator up to 0.45. Okay, set, and ailerons. Okay, so let's try once again. More than 1500 RPM to start moving, back to 1600 RPM for high-speed taxiing. That's okay. I should be much more careful this time. Don't try to accomplish everything in the first training mission after long break. Okay. Be easy, be easy, be easy, easy, easy. It's very small rudder movements. I do not use brakes, and do not be too late to reduce the throttle. When you will reduce the throttle, she will change her behavior, because there will be no such prop wash aerodynamic influence, aerodynamic force on a rudder. So I was too early to reduce power. But anyway, this airfield is quite new for me, so I will continue taxiing to the end of that runway. Now reducing power. And this is a great place to try and do the next standard operational procedure or mission part, which is turning 180 turn without using brakes. I will not use brakes and do 180 turn. So give a little bit power, move throttle forward a little bit, and some right rudder. Okay, I have accomplished that, but this turn radius is quite big. I can do that better next time. This time I will do it on the right side in order to give myself decent training. It's going to be the same side of this landing strip, but okay, by the way, no, the next thing I will do is practice landing run. Practice landing run. So close the canopy, extract flaps down, and in 30 seconds I will advance the throttle. In 5 seconds in one movement I will increase power up to 39 inches in one movement. I was half a second slow. Okay, now accelerate. I do that on the sandy surface first. Without using brakes, try to avoid ground loop. Retard the throttle. Be ready to brake. Be ready to brake. Steer. Okay, when your airspeed reduces, that's the most dangerous part. Flaps up and 1600 RPM for high-speed taxiing, and do high-speed taxiing, this time on the right side of the airfield, in order to have good practice. In case of group operations, I would suggest, if you've got left overhead brake pattern, you offset left on high-speed taxiing to the left side of the runway, and if you have right overhead brake pattern, you offset right, because I remember inexperienced guys have got tendency to do landing opposite half of the of the taxi of landing strip. So now I should taxi a little bit forward through that Marston mud. In Marston mud Marston mud should be slippery as hell, and in this game Marston mud gives you actually better grip, which is ridiculous. Asphalt doesn't have to give you better grip than grass, or even wet grass will not give you less grip than asphalt. And let's do 180 without using brakes, or left 180 this time. In crosswind conditions that's much more challenging, but I will do less 180 turn radius this time. And you should stop with your takeoff heading without using brakes. Takeoff heading plus minus 5 degrees, which is from 177 down to 167. I've got 172, which is plus minus 0 degrees. Absolutely fine. And then I should taxi once again to that sandy patch. I will repeat it one more time on a sandy surface, and then we'll switch to Marston mud surface, which should be not that easy. Marston mud with excessive grip shouldn't be that easy. It's easy on sandy surface, and I've already made a mistake. So once again, more than 1600 RPM, just more than 1500 RPM, throttle backwards, just down to 1600 for high-speed taxiing, and do offset left to the left side of the taxi runway. Okay, power is okay. Do S-turning to be aware of what is ahead of you. I had some free time to play this game, and unfortunately that game Arc Raiders, I would like to play with some Western Europe and USA guys from. That was a ground loop tendency. I was forced to reduce power. That was my mistake once again. So 354 Fighter Squadron, they do not play now. This game is dying. This game is dead already, but they used to play. And when I finally have some time to do some missions, even though Tau is there, they do not play. That's a dead genre, and dead genre community players' behavior. So I would be glad to join some mission, but when you got no one to play with. I know there are some European groups over there. Retarded throttle, she will change her behavior after you retard the throttle. Be ready for that. Remain doing S-turning. So your prop wash changes, and prop wash lift on a tail changes. So let's make 180 without using brakes one more time, and this time I will do smaller radius 180. you should balance on the knife edge of ground loop doing that, and this turn radius is somewhat smaller than previous time, but anyways, this operational training mission, I like it very much. I like it actually. It's not boring at all for me. And once again, by the way, that was a mistake. I should do practice landing run, and I didn't do practice landing run. I did high-speed taxiing. I know why I do that, because on a crosswind conditions I do okay with practice landing runs, and on high-speed taxiing I catch ground loops, extract flaps. And then wait until it's 45 seconds, and when it's 45 seconds I will increase power in 5 seconds by one movement. It's standard operational procedure. You should do that without using brakes for standard takeoff sequence. Retarded throttle, do not exceed 39 inches. She's on Marston mat. Okay, retard the throttle and do practice landing runs. This time use brakes. I do very short. I push brake button and okay. I do very short pushes on a brake button and flaps up 1600 RPM, and do high-speed taxiing, which is much more challenging than practice landing run itself. Pick up the right moment to retard the throttle, continue do S-turning. I was too late on retarding the throttle or not? Actually not. I was absolutely fine, but on this type of surface it's easier. On Marston mat it will be much more challenging. I guess I should start from taxiing on Marston mat, on normal speed taxi, from normal speed taxiing. Oh no, I will not actually. So do another 180 without using brakes. Balance on a knife edge of ground loop tendency to make your turning radius smaller, and without using brakes stop with heading 170 plus minus 5 degrees, and this time I had 172.5, which is plus half of degree, which is good result, but I'm quite experienced in that. And next I will do the same on a Marston mat surface. Close the canopy, flaps down, let you slow down to a halt, and wait until it's 45 seconds and advance the throttle in 5 seconds in one movement up to 38-39 inches movement. Throttle forward slowly but surely, steady. I was 1 second too fast, 1 second too fast, not good. Accelerate up to 60 or 70 miles per hour indicated, and then retard the throttle. Retard the throttle and try to do practice landing run without using the brakes first. You can use the brakes very short using or short pushes, short brakes, short brakings. Who knows, maybe in combat pilot they will give us good physics. Even if they don't give, it's much better to play without using canopy open, without using those. And this time I remember it's 1090 RPM. Let's slow down. It was 1090 RPM for normal taxiing speed. So plus 15%, that means 1200 RPM or 1300 RPM. Let me do that math. I couldn't do that. Let it be 1200 RPM. Let it be 1200 RPM. Okay. More than 1500 RPM to start moving. Retard the throttle down to 1200 RPM because rolling drag force is ridiculously small in this game on such type of surfaces. I guess I should do 1300 because calculation shows 1250 RPM. I should round it up all the time. It should be 1300 RPM. It's going to be very short high-speed taxiing, but anyways, I offset left. I do not exceed taxi landing strip, landing runway width. Okay, that was a tendency to ground loop to the left because I reduced the power and tail wheel reaction changed and I wasn't ready. So, and I was too late on reducing my throttle. Let me show you how late I was. I've retarded the throttle somewhere here, and I should do that somewhere here. I would stop without using brakes somewhere here. Once again, in combat situation and group operations, you should do that without using brakes, because who knows, maybe surface will be not the same on the left and right wheel, and by using brakes you will not reduce rotation but increase rotation, and you will rotate in the area where you should vacate left, for example, and the next group member will collide with you or have excessive fatigue or have negative emotions by trying to avoid you. So everything should be safe, nice and easy, well trained. I do 180 or with using brakes on the same spot. That wasn't too good. Okay. This time close canopy, flaps down. When it's gonna be 0 seconds, I will advance throttle forward and increase power up to 38-39 inches in one movement in 5 seconds. Advance the power, advance the throttle, increase power. I was too slow. You can correct. When she is accelerating, manifold pressure increases itself because P-40 doesn't have manifold pressure governor like A20, like C-47. Retard the throttle, and this time remain the same heading without using brakes. And you can use short break-ins, the consequence of short break-ins, but let's hope someday we'll get decent simulator where we will have brake wear and where we will have brake overheat. Once again, I will remind you that story of which I've heard from United Royal Navy World War II pilot. They were transitioning from sea fires or hurricanes to Hellcats, and operational readiness training, taxiing and takeoff, circuit and landing appeared to be deadly dangerous for one of them. On a touchdown, on landing on touchdown, his F4 Hellcat looped. Rolled over, and I don't know how to say it in English, and the guy died, and investigation showed his braking calipers were welded to the brake disc, so he was using so much braking on taxiing before takeoff. Brake disc and calipers overheated that much, they welded after takeoff. So when he did touchdown, he died because of excessive braking using. And in real life, better pilots used to try not to use too much brakings. Of course you need to use brakes, that's inevitable, that even without crosswind conditions you will need to use brakes, but less you use them, better. More you use them, that might be dangerous for you. Flaps down. When it's 45 seconds, I will advance throttle and in 5 seconds and do takeoff. I'm slowly but surely. Okay, should be half a second faster. This time I will accelerate up to 70 miles per hour indicated. Retard the throttle and I will use brakes. Use short break-ins. Brake to reduce your landing, practiced landing run range to stop to a halt faster. I will not stop to a halt when speed decreases. I do transition to high-speed taxiing, offset left, 1300 RPM, and do high-speed taxiing to clear the runway. That was good. So I'm quite good, quite confident in high-speed taxiing on such type of surface, which is different. It's actually easier with more grip. It's actually easier. Maybe the surface is flat, absolutely equal surface, and sandy surface is. I once again I'm too late on retarding the throttle. This time much more late, and she changes her behavior. Once again I did the same mistake twice, not once but twice. Okay, let's do 180 with using brakes on the same spot. Advance the throttle, rather use brakes, right rudder, retard the throttle a little bit. That's a mistake. I shouldn't stop. And this is it. Okay. Okay. Canopy close, flaps down. Get yourself on that Marston mud surface once again and repeat. Without crosswind conditions, it's fairly easy. Fairly easy. When it's 45 seconds, I will advance the throttle in 5 seconds. Up to 38-39 inches in one movement. Start advancing the throttle slowly, steady, but surely. I was half a second slow, maybe second slow, because I've stopped moving throttle right in time, but my throttle movement, initial throttle movement was too slow. Retard the throttle without using brakes. Remain the heading without using brakes. Open canopy, flaps up, 1300 RPM, offset right this time, and do high-speed taxiing to clear the runway. Do S-turning. That was a ground loop tendency to the right, my mistake. The landing strip threshold is closer and closer. I need to pick up the right timing for retard the throttle. It was too late. Remain, keep doing S-turning to be aware of what is ahead of you. That wasn't good S-turning, and I was too late. Look at this. I was supposed to use brakes in order not to exceed this landing strip width, but I will not do that. The next step will be takeoff, and I will do some flying because I've got hour and a half left. I cannot afford myself too much time. I'm already 1 hour late. That's unbelievable. Okay. Place yourself perpendicular to your takeoff heading. if my takeoff heading is 172 plus 90 degrees, it should be 162. So adjust a little bit, plus minus 5 degrees. Change trim settings to takeoff configuration. So I do. They say no technochat, no technochat, but when I will do trim to neutral, I will do actually the thing like technochat, because they will get my ailerons to neutral. I would never get them manually to neutral, because there is no any scale for that. There are scales for rudder and elevator trim, but no scale for aileron trim like on A20. So elevator 5.6 up, that's 70% technochat up. I do not use technochat. Elevator, that's elevator, not rudder. And rudder 5.5, that's 34% left. Aileron neutral. Now pick up the right time. In 30 seconds I will start my rolling to start standard operational procedure and do takeoff. Then I will do climbing up to 1600 feet, that's 2100. Okay, advance the throttle, start rolling, more than 1500 RPM to start moving. I was too late, actually. I was too late. You allowed to start moving in 30 seconds. I was 3 seconds late. Do not accelerate. Do not let her do ground loop. Okay, that's more or less okay. In 0 seconds I will advance the throttle, in 5 seconds up to 38-39 inches. Advance the throttle a little bit faster, a little bit faster. Okay, this time absolutely fine. I've stopped moving my throttle in 5 seconds, and manifold pressure gauge was following. So do take off, let her accelerate up to 130 miles per hour indicated, then pull up. Wheels up, RPM down to 2200, retarded throttle 25-26 inches, 2500 actually.
This is Bruffman.
2600
Airborne.
actually.
Over.
Bruffman,
She's
proceed with your
stabilized.
mission.
My heading is absolutely fine, so I will do. I've got excessive power. My mistake, because I didn't correct. I've increased RPM. I didn't correct power. 170 heading. 170 heading. She's not stabilized anymore. I will remain my mixture on auto reach settings. And I will climb. That's not rejoin after takeoff simulated pattern like I do always. That's very boring. Takeoff circuit and landing pattern, training pattern. But it gives you chance to climb, to try climbing. I will climb up to 2100 feet, because my airfield altitude was 440 feet above sea level, and plus 1660 feet, that will be exactly 210. And I completely forgot my consequence of transitioning from climbing attitude, stabilized attitude, down to straight and level stabilized attitude. I completely forgot it. Okay, down to 15.9, I guess. RPM down to 2200. She pitches her nose down. When she stops pitching her nose down, 14.2, I remember that. 14.5, sorry. She pitches her nose up, 13.2, 12.0, I was too late, and 10.8, 10.8, I guess. Yeah, in retarded throttle, rather up to 9, I guess, and retarded throttle. That wasn't too bad, but not too good either. I messed up with 55%, which is 14.5 on this scale. I did 14.2. Okay. You should gradually reduce elevator trim. When you reduce elevator trim, she reduces angle of attack. I've lost 6 degrees of heading. Very big mistake. Unnecessary. 170. She reduces angle of attack, and because of that she decreases her vertical speed and pitches her nose down. She reduces and pitches her nose down. And now I should reduce power a little bit. 19.5 was too much. 19.0 should be okay. One small click on aileron right, and I will fly straight and level until I'm satisfied with my straight and level stabilized attitude. I'm not satisfied yet. Advance the throttle. I need vertical speed indicator to be glued to 0, and in order to do that you should pick up the right airspeed if your trim isn't. I use standard trimming 10.8, which is 40% technochart, which is, of course, it's not necessarily accurate, but who knows? With the fine-tuning of your airspeed for that purpose is actually achieved by closing and opening your cowl shutters, but not unlike on A20, which has got very powerful cowl shutters. Small closing or opening of those cowl shutters gives you a lot of airspeed increasing or decreasing airspeed, so you can fine-tune your airspeed very well. This P-40 has got about 6 or 7 times less power of that closing of those cowl shutters closing or opening. Now I see my airspeed is insufficient. I need to increase a little bit So I'm closing cowl shutters. It's about 40, 70, 37, 38% now. I can close it. It's a little bit more than neutral. Neutral is 30%. So I must say I like P-40 already. P-40 is my favorite airplane. She's so stabilized. Small tendency to bank left, which is inevitable on any airplane, and close cowl shutters a little bit more, because she's still losing altitude. She's still losing altitude, and now I'm satisfied with my stabilized straight and level flight. It's beautiful. I'm very sorry about not being able to fly in a big group, big formation of players who do not hurry anywhere, do not suffer from flying too slow. I don't know. We already have got AI, but who knows, maybe someday AI will be the best teammate for you. Maybe AI will help. Okay, I need to increase power. I will increase power and open cowl shutters. Or should I? So, my RPM were not good, by the way. I should have 2200. Not easy, but I've managed to set up 19.7 RPM, 19.7 inches of manifold pressure, and now she's supposed to do, my altitude should be 2100 plus minus 150 feet, so I'm far away from prescribed altitude, which isn't good. I will fix it on turning left turn. And she's still losing. Advance the throttle, make it 21.1. I will not turn until I'm satisfied with straight and level attitude. Now I'm opening cowl shutters because now I've got excessive manifold pressure. My joystick throttle lever doesn't give me any more fine tuning than that. I couldn't increase manifold pressure up 0.2, 0.3 inches. I could do that only 0.5 inches, 0.6. And now I should open cowl shutters in order to slow her down, because now vertical speed is in positive zone. which means I've got excessive airspeed. I do not touch my elevator trim. 10.8 is standard trimming, 40% Technochart. Okay, let's say I'm satisfied with this. I didn't pull or push my stick. I let her stabilize herself without me doing any trim settings or pushing up or down, and she is stabilized right now. I've managed to do that. That's operational readiness training, which is extremely boring, but you need to do that. And the next step is turning left. My new heading will be A080. Okay, advance the throttle, bank left, pull up a little bit, 15 degrees bank angle, 2 inches plus 2 inches excessive manifold pressure. Climb a little bit because I need that a little bit more manifold pressure. Let's do actually plus 5 inches. I need to climb a little bit. Not too much climbing though. And I will keep climbing when I'm level up. That's correcting my mistake with altitude. Level up, keep climbing up to 2100 feet. That's that standard operational procedure I call jumping. Without changing your airspeed, you change your altitude by excessive power. Retard the throttle. No. Pitch your nose down and then retard the throttle with a small delay. It's 20.4 inches. It's too much. .0 would be not enough. I closed cowl shutters a little bit. So now I need to stabilize her. She's stabilized. She's stabilized. This river bending and this big town could help me to find where I am. That's Carintan, I guess. No? Should be Carintan. Maybe Saint Lo even. That's Saint Lo. I'm quite far. I've lost 1 degree of heading. And she's stabilized. I guess I can do another turn turn left, bank left, excessive power of 1.5 or 2 inches, pull up a little bit. Don't need to pull up anymore, she has accelerated. New heading's gonna be 350. When you under turning 30 degrees before your heading, retard the throttle to previous position in order to reduce the airspeed, so when you level up you will not have any excessive airspeed, any climbing tendency. Level up. Actually I've got insufficient airspeed. I had diving and losing descending tendency. Still insufficient airspeed. I've closed cowl shutters a little bit. Maybe that was a staged change in center of gravity. Center of gravity is shifting forwards. By this game has got staged change of fuel left over in fuel tanks, and less fuel, more center of gravity shifts forward. So without changing your elevator trim, without pushing stick forward, angle of attack decreasing somewhat, a little bit decreasing, so you need to a little bit somewhat increase your airspeed in order to maintain the same stabilized attitude with the same standard elevator trim, and you will not be able to correct that with your elevator trim because it's very small amount, but you will be able to correct that with cowl shutters opening or closing, or even with a small throttle movement on P-40. On A20 it's of course only cowl shutters opening, because you know on A20 you should decrease your airspeed. On A20 you have got staged shifting, center of gravity shifting backwards, and on P-40 it shifts forwards. So P-40 pitches her nose down somewhat a little bit, and A20 pitches her nose up somewhat a little bit when staged fuel leftover occurs. This game is quite not 100% realistic physics of fuel leftover, but that makes it easier for a player, because otherwise that little shift will be not such clearly visible, and you will need to you will not have such convenient evidence of that staged shift. So maybe it's that unrealistic feature makes it easier for player, but I understand no one cares about it because no one does stabilized flying on stabilized attitudes, because airspeed range of such stabilized attitudes is quite one click aileron left. Airspeed range is not those airspeeds are not the fastest. You have to be able to fly quite slow in order to achieve such stabilized attitude. And a little bit cowl shutters open because I've got that vertical speed gauge at positive side of the gauge, side of instrument panel. I've got, yeah, that was too much, and I know exactly where I am. I'm now 2406.6, somewhere here. I see this right in front of me on my 11. Saint Law. Corintan actually is to my left, back to my left, and this is here. Isigny, I don't know how to spell it. I've lost only 1 degree of heading. I do that. I do try to find out those landscape features and terrain features, landmarks, in order to position myself to know where I am in relation to my airfield. So when I'm here, I will do another. And let's assume somewhere near Saint-Mère-Église. That's a Saint-Mère-Église. That's a Saint-Pierre-Église. That's not the same village. Saint-Mère-Église somewhere here, somewhere near Saint-Mère-Église. I will do my approach straight entering. So I will go to Cherbourg, I guess. I can turn left actually right now. This small village is Saint-Martin-de-Varville, and on P-40 mission program you should get into your approach straight, having a heading with heading perpendicular to your landing, approach straight heading. So 260, turn to 260, retard the throttle, level up and try to see your airfield. I will not be able to see it. It's too far. Oh, that's bad. That should be Saint-Mère-Église. This should be Saint-Mère-Église. Saint Mary Glis and another village, Chef Dupont, also well known from D-Day landing activities. This is Montabour. I don't know. I cannot see. I can see my landing strip. I can see it. I guess I should start turning. Can no longer see that right now. Retard the throttle, new heading 350. $30 degrees before your new heading, you retarded the throttle in order to slow down somewhat. Where's my airfield? Turn left, turn right. My airfield should be exactly on my 12. No. That's first time I do mission on yeah, I cannot see my airfield. Should be right there. Why am I not able to see it? That should be Saint Pierre Église. Where's my airfield? Unbelievable. That's when you know you're rusty. It should be right there. I saw it before I started my right turn. I cannot see it now. It should be right there. Now I can see it. Now I can see it. And too much to the right. Okay, turn left. Some approach straight, hard correction. Okay, it's fine. I will do okay, I guess. The next step is to get yourself into overhead brake pattern initial point, which is over here, and start that overhead brake pattern. I started when that landing strip threshold touches my leading edge of my left wing. That's a standard operational procedure. You should mark that standard movement timing in order, in case of group operations, you announce that you say that time, and your tail and Charlie starts overhead brake pattern in that particular moment, and each consecutive group member does the same with a 15 seconds delay. There are no 1/4 shifting on P-40E-1, P-40 overhead brake pattern. There is 11 seconds shifting on 2/4. Okay, it's 15 seconds, I guess. Yes? No, it's 47 seconds. Okay, I started my overhead brake pattern. A little bit additional power. 1.2 inches. She has accelerated. No more pulling up. Some pulling up moments. She will accelerate, and right now will keep 0 vertical speed. Now I'm turning 180 to the left. When I'm finished doing that, I will level up for 11 seconds, then do another 90 degrees turn, and then do standard operational procedure of transitioning from stabilized straight and level flight into a stabilized wheels down, flaps down, final approach descending. Great airfield, I like it. This airfield is great. My new heading is gonna be 170 though. So when it's 200, retard the throttle. Altitude is absolutely fine, all set. Retard the throttle. Let her slow down a little bit. Airfield, airstrip, landing strip looks like normal. Not too far, not too close. Level up in 35 seconds. In 46 seconds I will continue. Looks okay. Maybe I'm even too close. Proceed with left turning. Additional power. On P-40, this overhead brake pattern on P-40 I do much better than on A-20, but I almost had no operational readiness training. I had some training, but not too much. When it's 080, I will do transition. It's okay, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I should actually wait some 5 seconds, level up, wait 3 seconds, and do wheels down, throttle backwards and forwards a little bit, RPM up to maximum, elevator 0.45, throttle forward a little bit, let her decrease your airspeed. Flaps down, nose down. I had too much power. And now I had not enough airspeed, which causes too much negative vertical speed. so rather a little bit to the left, aileron to the left. I'm overshooting a little bit. Yeah, I'm too close, I'm overshooting. But I will do touchdown and next. The next try. Reduce vertical speed. Level up. Retard the throttle. Awful touchdown, awful touchdown. Flaps up 37.5 inches. Trim down to 5.6. Accelerate. Take off. Wheels up. RPM down to 2600 RPM. Turn left. Retard throttle to 30 inches. Let her accelerate and retard the throttle to 28 inches. Climb. I will do what we call roundabout in Russian takeoff circuit and landing to practice touchdowns. And I forgot to level up on 260. My mistake. I should level up and fly straight climb in 17 seconds. My mistake. That's gonna be a big mistake. RPM were not enough. RPM wasn't enough. New headings 170. Leveled up in 40 seconds. In 40 seconds I will start turning. I will start my third turn. Now I keep climbing. I guess I'm too close. So 40 seconds plus 40 seconds, that means in 20 seconds I will start the third left turn. I remember that standard timing. And transitioning to straight and level, start left turn, RPM down to 2200 RPM. $13.2, 12.0, 10.8. And retard the throttle to 20 inches. Actually it's not too bad. It's gonna be good approach this time. Level up, wait 3 seconds, and wheels down, bank left, RPM maximum, retard the throttle and throttle backwards and forwards a little bit, RPM maximum, pull up, elevator, trim up, throttle backwards, elevator, trim up. pull up, pull up, pull up. Let her bleed your airspeed. Reduce your airspeed. Flaps down, nose down. Throttle forwards. This time it's better actually. I'm not overshooting, I'm undershooting a little bit. Retard the throttle. Perfect approach. Do touchdown. Reduce vertical speed. Leveling up. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Retard the throttle. Too high. Bad touchdown. I level up too high. 37 inches. Flaps up. Elevator trim down to 5.6 and repeat. 130 miles per hour. Flaps up. Gear up, bank left, retard the throttle, okay. I've changed aileron trim and rudder trim somewhat. She's stabilized in climbing. This time when it's 260 I will not forget leveling up and climbing straight in 17 seconds. Leveling up in 14 seconds. In 31 seconds I will proceed with turning left. You need that 1/4 shifting because your climbing turn radius is less than level turn radius, horizontal constant level turn radius. Two very bad touchdowns and the same mistake of leveling up too high. So when I'm 170 I mark that time and leveling up. It was 17 seconds plus, so in 57 seconds I will start my third left turn, and now I'm climbing. I keep climbing. When it's 20-100 feet indicated, I will start with transitioning to straight and level. RPM down to 2200 RPM. Slowing the nose. 14.5. Start turning. 13.2. That was too soon. 12.0. Watch your nose behavior and 10.8. 10.8 and wait, retard the throttle. 1080, level up, wait a little bit, and wheels down, throttle backwards and forwards a little bit, bank left, RPM up to maximum, pull up, elevator trim up to 0.45, bank left, throttle forwards, she's decelerating, pull up, 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 wheel flaps down, nose down. Beautiful, beautiful. This time it's a little bit better than previous 2 times. And correct your elevator, correct your rudder and aileron trim for stabilized descending. Right rudder and left wing aileron trim. A little bit more right rudder, advanced throttle, you undershooting, center line, and do landing, do touchdown. You see I'm offset right, reduce vertical speed, level up, retard the throttle. This better, and this is it for today. I do landing run, not practice landing run, but actual landing run. I need to go. That was circling attempt. I couldn't prevent ground loop without using my brakes, so I'm very rusty. I knew it's gonna be the case. Advance the throttle, 1300 RPM, and do high-speed taxiing to clear the runway. So a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes, and that's normal when you do not practice almost half a year, 2 months, and before that it was another 2 months of retard the throttle, keep doing this turning, do not let her do any ground loop tendencies. I was once again by the way, that was okay. I wasn't too late on retarding the throttle. Trim to neutral. Try to turn without using trim. That will be without using brakes. I could do that. Excessive grip on such surface, which is unrealistic and ridiculous, helps me, and I will do some lane taxiing on Marston mud surface. And this is it for today, because I need to go. That was normal, good practice. You don't achieve everything in the first attempt. You need consequence of practice missions, training sessions, and then you will do okay. Trims are neutral, different tail, different aerodynamic force on the tail because of a different trim. So I do S-turning and taxiing without using brakes. This taxiing speed is not enough. I need to increase. 1050 RPM is too much. Let me do 1070, 1080 RPM should be absolutely fine. 1080 RPM, I guess 75 should be better. there will be quite good practice session. I had one ground loop, my mistake on sandy surface. I've damaged my wing, restarted, and I had some 2 or 3 ground loop attempts. I could prevent, I could avoid ground loop without brakes, and on actual landing run, after actual landing, I had right tendency, right ground loop attempt. She was sliding right, and I couldn't do anything because I was indiscreet. I've missed the moment I should do small left rudder correction, and I was forced to use full brakes. So my brakes would be overheat and wear somewhat. In more realistic physics, in this game there are no such physics, but in real life and in more realistic game, brakes are very delicate matter, and you should be careful with them. You shouldn't use them too much. That's a not ideally correct quote from United States Navy operational readiness video from wartime, World War II time training program. In real life pilots also were handling that problem of psychological inability to taxi without excessive brakes using. That was normal, just like in a game. That's a left circling tendency. My mistake. Okay, I should practice more, and the next time I will do this mission, I don't know when it should be. I will do the same with crosswind 3 meters per second. Okay, let's turn here. I do brake and turn, I apply full brakes and turn on the same spot, and all your actual operational taxiing will consist of those standard operational procedure of braking of taxiing without using brakes, and turning without using brakes, taxiing, straightforward taxiing, and ignition switch off, and turning with using brakes, and with taxiing with using brakes. So this is it. Not too much flying for me today. I gotta run. And that was takeoff, straight and level flight. First 180 was first 90 degrees left turn, second 90 degrees left turn. Then I realized my approach straight will not be on above the sea surface, because I need some terrain features to find where I am, and I've plotted that approach straight on the map, turned left, I found Saint Mary Glise and Chef DuPont, turned right, lost. When I was here, I saw this landing strip, but when I've turned, I couldn't see it. That's the first time I do any mission on this great St. Pierre-Église airfield, great airfield. I like it very much already. Cherbourg airfield. Cherbourg. And I was happy to finally find it out. Now here I saw it eventually, and that's correction to get yourself into that overhead brake pattern initial point. Here it is, not above the landing strip threshold, but offset right a little bit to see the landing strip threshold touching your left wing leading edge, and that's a standard moment for overhead brake pattern. Now I turn 180, fly straight 11 seconds and do another 90 degrees turn, and then turn left. Here I had excessive bank angle, so I've turned too much, and then I did two very bad touchdowns, and the third touchdown was just not good enough, not good, a little bit better. So I will continue. The next time the same mission with crosswind. I will do maybe from west crosswind, 3 meters per second. And for those who might watch this or will watch it later, thanks for watching. Stream wasn't too long, but I guess it should be enough for the first time after very long break. And A20 missions will continue, and P-40, I guess I will do some P-40 missions. If not this week, maybe in the end of December, maybe in the beginning of January, I should do my P-40. P-40 is main airplane, and thanks for watching. See you, goodbye, good night.